Boys and girls, we're back. So in today's video we're going to be talking about nutrition and the diet that you're going to need to implement into your daily routine in order to get a more shredded physique, whether you are currently really skinny like I was when I started, or whether your body fat is a lot higher and you need to drop that in order to reach your goal. Hey guys, real quick disclaimer before getting into the video. As of this moment, I'm not yet qualified in nutrition. Therefore, all of the information I give has been curated as a result of my own personal research and experiences of the best practices. You're welcome to do as I do, but anything you're unsure of, please do your own research before going into it. Anyways, on with the video. Now, diet is something that I really overlooked when I first started training, and although I made some quite good beginner gains at the start, I really think I would have made a much bigger difference had I implemented the right diet into my training plan from the very start. Now, both the way that you eat and the way that you train will change depending on where you are currently on your fitness journey, whether you are skinny or have a higher body fat. In this video, I'm going to cover both, and I'm going to put a part 1 for the skinnier people and part 2 for everyone with a higher body fat. Regardless of which category you fit into, you're going to want to start this off by finding out your maintenance calories. What this means is how much your body will burn on a day-to-day basis just by keeping you alive, breathing, standing up, getting out of bed, etc, etc. Now, I've found so many different calculators online and not all of them are accurate. I'll put a couple in the description that I think are a good way of measuring. In some gyms, like my one, there's a body composition machine which will tell you how many calories you're expected to burn in a day as your maintenance calories, and then I just add to that number my estimated amount of how much I would burn in a workout session. So once you've got to that number, you can now skip to whichever part of the video you think you're going to be more interested in. If you think you're skinny and all you need to do is just put on muscle, then this is the time code that you need to go to. And then if you think you need to drop body fat in order to get to your physique goal, then this is the time code you need to get to. But either way, let's go straight into the video and I'll tell you what diet you need to do in order to get to that goal. So let's say you're like me when I started and you're really skinny and all you need to do is just put on muscle in order to get to the physique that you want. So what we're going to do is we're going to eat in a way that complements training and enables us to grow muscle without putting on too much body fat. In a really oversimplified way, your body fat is how thick your skin is. So the lower your body fat, the more you can see the muscle and the more toned you're going to look. And if you're wanting to try and look really shredded, chances are the majority of athletes you're looking at have quite a low body fat. Now, you may or may not have heard the term lean bulk before. Essentially what this means is we're going to be eating the right foods when bulking, so it's more of a clean bulk than just getting in the calories. And you're also going to be eating in only a very slight surplus of your maintenance calories. So once you find out what that number is, and if you need to, you've added your active amount to it, you're going to add about 10 to 20% to that number, and that's how many calories you're going to be need to eating during the day. You don't need to add any more than about 10-20%. Some people hear calorie surplus and just go hell for leather, eating as many donuts as they can. This isn't really the healthiest way to do it and will definitely increase body fat whilst training. If you want to stay shredded, this probably isn't the best way to go. Again, I'm going to keep this really simple, but foods contain 3 different macronutrients. So you've got proteins, which are about 4 calories per gram, carbohydrates, again 4 calories per gram, and fats, which are about 9 calories per gram. So we're going to track these 3 macronutrients, and in your diet, this is the kind of breakdown you're going to need in order to increase muscle but keep your body fat quite low. We're going to start off with around 20 to 25% fat. You've probably heard the term good fats and bad fats. We're going to try and want to keep these as much towards the good side as possible. It's alright to have a chocolate bar every now and then, but just make sure that you're not filling the whole 20% with bad fats. Things like nuts are really great, especially because a lot of them have a lot of protein in them as well. So nuts, avocados, oils, that kind of thing. Now, you don't need to go overboard with the amount of protein that you're eating, but protein is the most satiating of the macronutrients. So if you're skinny and you don't have a massive appetite like I was when I first started, the more protein you eat, the more full you're going to get, and the more difficult you're going to find it to get your calorie goal. Research that I've looked to tends to point towards 1 gram per pound of body weight or 2.2 grams per kilo of body weight. And some studies have said more, so don't be afraid to increase this, but just don't get too tied up if you can't quite reach that goal. So once you've calculated how much fat you need and how much protein you need, the rest we're just going to fill up with carbs. So just like with the fats, we're going to try and focus these on good carbs as much as possible. Whole grains, try and limit the amount of sugar you're eating, that kind of thing, so we can reach the carb goal, but feel healthy whilst doing it. So I'm going to give you an example of how I'm eating currently, and this should give you a better idea of how to understand how to work it out for yourself. Just any number that's in red will be my own numbers. Just replace these with your own numbers. So after exercise, my current maintenance calories is about 2,800. We're gonna add 15% to this number and end up with 3,220 calories. So at the end of the day, this is how many calories I will have need to be eating during that day. So first of all, let's find out how much fat I need in my diet. We're gonna find out 25% of my entire calories, and that gives me 810 calories. Now, like I mentioned before, fat has 9 calories per gram. So if we divide 805 by 9, then we get how many grams of fat I need in my diet. So next, let's move on to protein. I weigh 74.4 kilos, or about 164 pounds. So I'm gonna need around 165 grams of protein in my diet. Now, the final macronutrient to find out how much I need of is carbs. And what we're gonna do is just fill up the remaining amount of calories with carbs. As I mentioned before, protein has 4 calories per gram. So we're gonna times the 165 by 4 to find out how many calories are in my protein goal. Then we're going to get my maintenance calories and remove the amount of fat I'm aiming to eat and the amount of protein I'm aiming to eat, and that should give me how many calories of carbs I need in my diet. And finally, because there's 4 calories in a gram of carb, I'm going to divide this number by 5 and it should give me the amount of carbs I'm going to need to add to my diet. And there we have it. Those are the macronutrients that I need to stick to along with my training plan in order to get the physique that I'm striving to get to. Okay, so let's say your body fat is a little bit higher that you're wanting, and most of the athletes that you're looking at as an idea of a goal that you want to get to have a lot lower body fat. This is really oversimplified, but your body fat is essentially how thin your skin is. And so by decreasing that, you're going to be able to get a more toned physique. You'll be able to see your muscles more clearly, and the majority of athletes that you are looking up to are likely to have quite a low body fat. What I want you to start by doing is ignoring the word weight. Hey guys, just editing this video. Whoa, focus please. There we go. Currently editing this video, and I've realised that I've really ballsed this description up and made it a lot more complicated than it needs to be. So I'm gonna just simplify it real quick. I don't like using weight as a metric for success, because with this diet and training plan, you're gonna be increasing muscle and dropping body fat. And because muscle weighs more than fat, your weight isn't gonna fluctuate that much. For example, if you gain a kilo of muscle and lose a kilo of fat, you'll weigh the same, but you look a hell of a lot better. So instead, I like to use body fat percentage as a better measure of your success. Anyway, I hope that makes a lot more sense. We'll get back to the video. There's a number of ways of working out your body fat. I'll put a few in the description, but the easiest way is to go to a gym with a body composition machine, which will tell you the amount of body fat you have. Now, the only way to drop body fat is to eat in a deficit. So you are gonna have to eat less than you're currently eating. So you're going to want to work out your maintenance calories. This is your calories that you burn on a day-to-day basis, as well as any active calories that you burn during a gym session. With this number, we're only going to drop it by about 10%. Some people hear calorie deficit and end up eating 1 bit of lettuce for the entire day. Not only is this really unsustainable, your body also reacts to extreme deficits in calories in a very different way, and your body fat might end up increasing. Again, I'm going to keep this really simple, but foods contain 3 different macronutrients. So you've got proteins, which are about 4 calories per gram, carbohydrates, again 4 calories per gram, and fats, which are about 9 calories per gram. So the breakdown you're going to want to try and focus on is about 25 to 30% fats. Now, you've probably heard about good fats and bad fats before, and fats are very complicated to understand, and I don't really understand them fully just yet. But essentially, you're going to try and want to focus on good fats. Eating chocolate every now and then is absolutely fine, but just try not to fill up the entire 30% with things like butter. Nuts are great because they have a lot of protein in them too. Avocados, oils, that kind of thing. Next up, we're going to work out how much protein to eat, and you're going to try and focus on about 1 pound per gram of body weight, or 2.2 grams per kilo of body weight. Again, like fats, we're going to try and focus on good carbs. Sugar in your diet is absolutely fine, but again, keep it in moderation and try and stick to whole grains as much as possible, rather than filling up your entire carb goal with sugar. So I've had a chat with one of my friends recently who I've been helping with his diet, and he's given me permission to give his breakdown in this video. He's currently 99.6 kilos and his maintenance calories is about 3,000 after he's worked out. So we're going to take off 10% from this and he needs to be eating 2,700 calories per day. So we'll start off with the fats and we'll find 30% of his calorie goal during that day, which gives us about 810 calories of fat. So like I mentioned before, fat has 9 calories per gram, so if we divide this number by 9, we'll end up with about 90 grams of fat that he needs to consume during the day. Next we're going to work out protein, and he weighs 99.6 kilos, or about 219 pounds, which means that he needs to be eating about 220 grams of protein in the day. And finally, we're going to work out carbs. So we're going to get the entire maintenance calories, take away the fats and the protein, and that'll give us how many calories of carbs you need to be consuming. Like I mentioned before, carbs has 4 calories per gram, so we're going to divide this number by 4 and it'll give us the amount of carbs that he needs to be eating in the day. And there we have it, it's as easy as that. He's found out his macronutrient targets for the day, that alongside his training program will help him to drop body fat and increase muscle simultaneously. Now I'm going to talk about how to set meal plans in a separate video, but just for now it's really easy to do on something like MyFitnessPal. All you're going to do is just type in what you're eating in the day and that should give you an idea of what's high in protein, what's high in fats, etc, etc. And you find out then how to kind of adapt what you're eating in order to reach these goals more clearly. Now it's important to know your macros are a goal and not the be all and end all. So if you don't quite get to it by the end of the day, don't lose sleep. Just come back at it the following day with a fresh mind as to how you might be able to improve your diet to better achieve the goal. I'm going to leave that video here. I hope you found this really useful, and if you feel like you're going to find value in stuff that I bring in future, please do subscribe. But other than that, thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a great day.